Assalamu alaikum. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'een. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Ameen. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri. واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي أشدد به أزري واشركه في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Welcome dear friends, inshallah. We will continue our discussion from the 25th word, discussing about the principles of the Qur'an, so we can all benefit while the month of Ramadan is approaching, inshallah, which is the month of the Qur'an. So we can prepare ourselves, inshallah, how we can benefit from the message of the Quran, inshallah. So in this section that we are reading right now is just to recap a little bit, the author has been presenting that the principle of one of the things that the Quran does is mentions about ghaibi matters, right? And in the ghaibi matters, it talks about certain events of the past and the future as well, right? And many of those during the contemporary time, basically. So they turned out to be true in history. So that is one side. But when I'm reading the verses, I get another fresh side of it. And then that is related to me in my time as well. So it keeps the freshness of the Quran. So all those events that happened, they came to be true, but now I can interpret them according to my conditions, my day and age as well. Right. So the mentioning of the ancient prophets and figures via the previous revelations also gives credibility to, yes, it's not talking about something else that human beings are not aware of. Prophets have come, so the same prophets are being mentioned as well, and gives the credibility, relatability to the message as well. And the final comment I had was all these events were given to us by the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, who was unlettered. Right? So all this news that turned out to be true in history, it comes from someone who says, hey, it is not my message. So I'm employed, I'm given this message by my Lord, the Lord of the universe, right? So he didn't learn or copy the events from older sources. He always claimed that the message is not from him, but comes from the Lord of the universe. So these are some of my notes from what we discussed last time. All right, so we'll continue now with the third glisten, unless somebody wants to add anything to these notes or something that they recalled. Now, in terms of what the ghaibi matters, or the ones unseen, basically translated as unseen, but ghaibi, that deals with the one within the knowledge of the absolute being. Fariha, go ahead, please.
Assalamu alaikum. I just wanted to highlight an important point, at least to me, that stood out last time was when we spoke about the Prophet being unlettered. I think it's very important to emphasize on that because I think Brother Lee mentioned something about mostly in Sirah books that portrays the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, as like the best man, which is, okay, fine, character of a person or a war hero and so on and so forth. So like people use those whatever is being portrayed in those Sira books, especially the Orientalist, in terms of, oh yeah, he was definitely a great person, but then it um, removes or devoids the piece about the prophet. Like he was a great man and a prophet, so the piece about the prophethood does not get emphasized and it's missed. And therefore, I felt it's very important to even know that the unlettered piece. Otherwise, because there have been so many wise people around or sages, people can say, oh, yeah, I can learn about understanding or making sense of my existence by just, following a sage person or, this person was wise throughout history. But I think just emphasizing this notion of prophethood is super important, at least to me. Otherwise, because the prophethood piece represent that the creator of the universe directly spoke with someone. It's not, the knowledge is not coming in from the person itself, or the knowledge is not being transferred to the prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, from like previous wise people, from the time. No, it's not that, right? So just wanted to emphasize on that. I mean, hope it helps.
Yep, thank you very much. That helped a lot to remind me as well. That was beautiful. About like, for example, in the previous scripture, it said a comforter will come. We don't know who that comforter is, but right, it could be, we said, okay, somebody like Gandhi, could be like someone who is, but then prophet is the one who's employed by God, right? Is instructed by the pre-eternal master. So it's very important to understand who is actually the prophet, that he is directly under the guidance and the instruction of the Lord of the universe. Thank you for highlighting that. All right, so let's move on to the third glisten. So this is giving news of the Quran is giving news of the divine truths, the cosmic truths, and the matters of the hereafter. So the Quran's expositions of divine truths and its explanations of the cosmos, which solve the talisman of the universe and riddle of creation. So it gives meaning to all these, the universe itself, the explanations of the cosmos, how the whole universe is arranged, the solar system is arranged. Amazingly, everything is functioning. They must have a creator, a conscious being who must be responsible for it. So solves the talisman of the universe and riddle of creation are the most important of its disclosures about the unseen. So the most important. So these are the most important disclosures. Let's put that. For it is not reasonable to expect the human reason to discover those truths about the unseen and follow them without deviating amid innumerable ways of misguidance. It is well known that the most brilliant philosophers of mankind have been unable to solve the most insignificant of those matters by using reason. It's interesting how he's bringing out that even with our human qualities and reasoning, we still have questions. We can come to the conclusion of La ilaha, that there must be someone, right? But we don't know if there must be someone or something. That's how the reason can come to. But the whole mystery of and the riddle of creation, the meaning and purpose of the universe, and that there's a hereafter, right? We cannot really reason about it unless we get the message about the hereafter from the prophetic message and the Quran. So any philosophers, brilliant philosophers, that's what they're looking for, meaning and purpose in the universe. but they're looking for within answers within the universe itself. They cannot go beyond, okay, I guess they don't recognize or want to go that there must have the possibility, come with the possibility that, yeah, there must be a source of existence of the universe. So I can't really find my answer within the universe itself. Right. So furthermore, it is only after the Quran has elucidated those divine truths and cosmic truths, which it points out, and after man's heart has been cleansed and his soul purified. So the human being is really looking for an answer, is not biased in terms of, I'm not going to accept or submit to a creator of the universe. So man has to have that purity in themselves to be there in their fitri kind of human state. And after his spirit has advanced and his mind been perfected, that his mind affirms and accepts those truths, only then the reasoning can function and the feelings and reasoning can say, yeah, definitely I concur logically that this must be so, that there must be a hereafter. And he says to the Quran, how great are God's blessings. This section has been in part explained and proved in the 11th word, and there is no need to repeat it. But when it comes to facts concerning the hereafter and intermediate realm, the human mind certainly cannot rise to them and see them on its own. Right? So facts concerning the hereafter and the intermediate realm, the human mind cannot certainly rise to them and see them on its own. However, it can prove them to the degree it sees them through the ways shown by the Quran. So as much as one develops from the message of the Quran and the prophetic message, how one engages with it and tries to understand it, how much they develop their abilities, they can confirm according to how the Quran mentions using the evidence in the universe. So it is explained and proved in the 10th word just how right and true are these disclosures of the Quran about the unseen. Okay, I will pause here to hear if anybody wants to add anything or comment on something that they want to emphasize or something that they want to highlight a little more. So we're discussing basically the news of the unseen or ghaibi matters. So past and present, and now divine truths that telling news about who the Lord of the universe is and about other matters such as the hereafter as well. And we cannot really find from ourselves, by ourselves, with using the human reason. We cannot expect human reason to discover all these truths that we learn from the message of the Quran. All right. Brother Ali, please go ahead.
It was very important, Sister Fariha, really presented to our minds that we should pay attention the prophetic side of it. A prophetic side means, of course, Muhammad has two sides. One is a human being like you and me, no different at all. But the message he received from God, if he hadn't received the message from the Creator, is a great scholar or is a great, very smart person, he wouldn't be able to say what he has done and what he has said. He wouldn't be able to do any of it at all. How do we know that? Look at the history. Those people who don't listen to the message, for example, in the Hellenistic tradition, all the philosophical theories in Hellenistic tradition, it means the Greek and Roman tradition, all the different philosophers, they don't have any idea about really, really the understanding that the universe must have a creator. They just what they had some sort of God concept, but within the universe, fighting with each other. Mostly, you can see these mythologies that developed. Philosophers also. No one can ever mention the hereafter at all. Although they were great people, I mean, what they wrote in the age they lived were great people, but they didn't know about Ghaibi side of the creation at all. But in Europe, although materialist, after the Enlightenment period, materialistic ideas started developing, but there were still some people who were talking about God as the creator of the universe, not within the universe, but the source of existence of the universe. They were somehow, because they heard from the Christianity, they were somehow familiar. Some of them, of course, some of them denied. This is always like this. But those people who didn't deny what was the word? Yeah, disclosure about the unseen, solving the talisman of the universe and riddle of the creation, they were somehow able to do that because they heard the revelation. Those who didn't hear the revelation, no way. They had the Greek God, as far as I understand. Everybody interprets it in another way. But my interpretation, my understanding is they had the God concept, but God concept within the universe. It's not God. Maybe they heard the God concept from previous religious traditions, the Torah or something. Because the Quran presents on the Torah and the Bible and the Quran itself as revelation, but it is not only that. God says, "I have sent to the center cities of each nation a prophet." So there must be thousands of, if not hundreds of, 100,000. We don't know, but the a little bit solid one, let's say. Solid means like Torah, so influential. Local, they were local, but Torah wasn't local. And Jesus wasn't local. Muhammad was never local. Alayhimus salam. So without Ghaib introducing himself to human beings cannot get the right understanding or close to the right understanding of Ghaib. So impossible. But Quran gives the detailed explanation of it, and this detailed explanation is confirmed the way the universe is created. Thank you.
Thank you. Alhamdulillah bil alameen. All right. Any other thoughts or comments on this?
11th word, it starts with, and with a, how can I say, story-like telling. People of the generations of the humankind coming throughout the time, uh, time, group by group, as a wave by wave by waves, generation by generation. And they asked, the universe asked them, do you remember this story? Universe asked them, who are you, human beings? Who's your leader? How this leader educated you? This kind of questions. And hikmah, wisdom, which we draw from the universe, from the existence, the answer comes, and this analogy takes the reader to understand that the prophets in general are the people who are the leaders of mankind, employed by God, not philosophers, employed by God, taught, educated by God. And they are the ones who were revealing the secrets of the universe.
Yep, 11th word. Thank you, Brother Ali. So Muawiyah has a comment. He's asking, can't we confirm there's a source and a creator and then ascertain some of the aspects of the creator through reasoning? For example, if I see a powerful animal, can't I reason a more powerful creature must have created it? From there, it can be deduced that the creator of the universe must be all powerful.
Now, after hearing the message, sorry, Asim, you go ahead.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I was saying you cannot conclude about that the universe has a creator by ourselves, right? So that's what I was going to point out. I mean, definitely there may be someone powerful. We don't know. We haven't seen that more powerful animal yet at that stage of reasoning. But we have to still work on it. That's the thing. Like there must be something. But in terms of existence, we say, okay, who is the one who is giving existence to the power within the animal or with the qualities that I see, right? So there we can say there must be something. But Brother Ali, please go ahead.
Almost on the same line, human mind itself, without hearing, that is what Muslims, Christians, Jews confuse. I understand Jews and Christians will confuse. They don't have a really proper criteria. So, but Muslims are supposed to have it. Now, they say, after hearing the concept of God and possibility of, at least possibility of creation after death, and because we grew within this culture, go and see, go to China, where there is no Christianity, no Judaism. That you cannot find Jewish people everywhere. All of them are only 18 billion, a million people, 18 million, and that's it. The population of Istanbul is almost 20 million. Small, whole Jewish nation is smaller than Istanbul population. That's it. Karachi is incredible. 40 million. So 40 million, even half of Karachi, whole world, Jewish people. So forget about that. Muslims, Muslims heard this, but Christians heard this, but those people who didn't hear anything about anything about Islam or Christianity. Go and ask them. Why don't they reason as Muawiyah wrote? As he gave the example from, can't we deduce that the creator of the universe from what I reason more powerful creature must have created it. You cannot go out of Muawiyah. You cannot go out of universe. What Greek people did, they just invented gods fighting in the universe. Couldn't get out of it. Although they heard the God concept. This is not, this is for human beings. Unless somebody uses this analogy as Muawiyah wrote, without saying God or, but you can reason in this way and understand and go or jump out of the universe and find out the source of existence of the whole universe. That is La ilaha illallah. Find out the source of existence of the whole universe. And speak to Chinese people, those who have not heard Christianity, or of course those people who are here in New York, in the United States, they heard it, and they are mostly from a Christian background, by the way. But those people who live there in the villages of China have no idea whatsoever about God. No. Even the concept of creating is what human beings are doing. That's it. Nothing to do with the universe. Universe is as it is. That's it. That's how we are here. We should not confuse, and we should not take this hearing about God and saying that it makes sense, I agree, is enough. No, everybody hears it. They will say, oh, somehow it makes sense. Belief is confirmation based on evidence. Most of the Muslims even just use what they heard and, yeah, it makes sense. Correct, it makes sense. I'm not saying it doesn't. It makes sense, but that's it. No, it is the starting point. Who is this God? You have to get to know him. Not only somebody created the universe, that's it. That is the handicap for Muslims, unfortunately. Blocking the way to investigate. I believe in God, that's it.
Thank you, Brother Ali and Mavia, for the question as well. Yeah, so this Hellenistic approach, basically, I think that's why the Greek mythology invented about different gods trying to fight each other because they can't get out of the universe, so they just have to give some explanation here within the universe. All right. Should we go to the second radiance? So this is the Qur'an's youth, ever fresh Qur'an. It preserves its freshness and youth every age as though newly revealed. So every generation can say, this is something new to me. Newly revealed message. In fact, the Quran has to have perpetual youth, since as a pre-eternal address, it addresses at once all the levels of mankind in every age. And that is how it has been seen and is seen. I don't know nowadays if it's seen that way, but I'm glad to hear it has been seen in that way, that every level of mankind in every age is being addressed according to their conditions. Even though all the centuries are different with regard to ideas and capacity, it as though looks to each particularly, so it looks at each particularly and teaches it. That particular century is being taught. Man's works and laws grow old, like man. They change and are changed. But the rulings and laws of the Qur'an are so firm and well-founded that they increase in strength as the centuries pass. So they increase in strength as the centuries pass. So much and more relevant and more confirming. Indeed, this present age and the people of the book of this age, who have more than any other relied on themselves and stopped up their ears, so blocked their ears to the words of the Quran, are so in need of its guiding address of, O people of the book, O people of the book. That it is as if it addresses this age directly, and the phrase, O people of the book, Ahlil Kitab, or comprises also the meaning of, O people of the modern science books, people of the modern science books, those educated in modern secular books rather than religious books, which is pretty much all of us coming from the secular education. Even the religious books are secular, most of them right now. So it delivers its shout of, O people of the book, come to common terms as between us and you, which is from the Qur'an's section 3, verse 64. Come to common terms as between us and you. It delivers its shout of to the ends of the world with all its strength, all its freshness, all its youth. For example, modern civilization, which is the product of the thought of all mankind, and perhaps the jinn as well, has taken up a position opposed to the Quran, which individuals and communities have failed to dispute. With its sorcery, it impugns or disputes the Quran's miraculousness. Now, in order to prove the claim of the verse, impugns, dispute the Quran's miraculousness. Now, in order to prove the claim of the verse, say, if the whole of mankind and the jinns were to gather together, Quran section 17, verse 88. We shall compare the foundations and principles which civilization has laid out in the form of dispute with the principles of the Quran. All right. So let's see. So the second radiance is telling about the youth of the Quran, like how it's relevant to every generation, every day and age. Every day is a brand new day for us. So the message comes as a brand new revealed message, just like the creation, the universe that we see, we witness, giving the whole fresh aspect to it that every new time. It's a new creation that we witness if we pay attention to it. So the revelation also works in that way, right? And then this whole addressing human beings who have really stopped listening to the message of the Quran by addressing them, oh people of the book. So really, really have to be the people of the book. So that is the Quran as well as the universe as well, right? The book, everything that we witness and the whole message that we receive needs to be carefully paid attention to, right? So it's shouting, hey, listen to the message, come to terms with it, make sense of it. Within the education we have received, like modern civilization, which says you're basically rely on yourself, basically, in a way, right? It disputes the Quran's miraculousness by giving explanation to cause and effect, probably, most likely, just taking the universe for granted. So it kind of impugns or disputes the Quran's miraculousness because they fail to look at the universe from the created aspect of it. So this trend of opposing the Quran's message, right? And then the verse that he shared, if the whole of mankind and the jinns were to gather together, basically, they can't produce the like of it, anything, just like in the universe, can't give existence to anything in the universe. So I think let's go to the explanation of what the civilization sees in terms of how its principles are, which is what the author will share. But before I could do that, any comments or thoughts so far? Brother Ali, please go ahead.
For the previous discussion, can I share the screen?
Of course, please go ahead. You are co-host. Go ahead.
Yeah. Can you read this one here? First of all, my question and the answer.
Okay, you're working with the AI tool. Okay. Do the god of the Greek mythologies is god or goddesses are transcendental god concepts? So do they transcend the universe in a way, right? The concept of God in the Greek mythologies, God and goddesses. So in Greek mythology, the gods and goddesses are not transcendental in the way that the Islamic concept of God, Allah, is. The Greek deities are largely anthropomorphic, meaning they have human-like qualities, emotions, and limitations. They reside in specific places like Mount Olympus, interact with the world,
Within the world. Yeah, be careful. Within the world.
within the world, yes.
Yeah.
They reside in specific places,
Yeah.
interact with the world in physical ways,
Yeah.
and even experience human-like struggles, such as jealousy, love, and revenge. However, a truly transcendental God, as understood in Islamic theology, is beyond human attributes, not subject to time, space, or physical needs. The Greek gods, by contrast, are immanent and contingent.
Here, within the universe, immanent and
Immanent and contingent to the universe itself, not to the absolute being, right? Meaning they exist within the world,
yeah, that is the point.
are part of the cosmic order.
Yeah,
That's another.
they are part of the cosmic order. Mari, be careful.
Yep.
Part of the cosmic order. Yeah.
And even subject to fate. What is that, Moira? In some cases.
Yeah, I think I don't know, but the subject to fate, I think they die.
Oh, divine determining or something, fate.
Die.
Die. Okay, fate. They are more akin to powerful supernatural beings rather than an ultimate self-existent divine reality.
Mhm.
Would you say that Greek mythology represents a type of polytheistic anthropomorphism, while Islamic mythology insists on a pure monotheistic transcendence?
Yeah.
Did you mention Islamic in your question? Let me go back to your question again. Do the God in or transcendental God concept? It's interesting. Yeah, they bring the concept of God in the Islamic perspective.
Because this uh,
Transcendence.
now this AI are programs are there uh, the oh, the people who programmed them.
Right. Yes. The models that we have. Yes.
So they use algorithm
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
such a way that uh, they get to know the user
I see. Got it. Yes.
because I share
You've been discussing, right. You've been interacting.
all
Yeah.
Islamic stuff, all Islamic stuff. He says that I am interested mainly in Islam and
I see.
somehow I am defending it. So he gives an answer and compares to what my cultural background is. This is what I mean?
Yes. Got it. Yes.
Accordingly speaks. That's why he asked this question, would you say that Greek methodology? I asked this stuff, AI, very tough questions. It's a really tough question. He says, really an interesting, tough question. So I will try to get the relevant
You're right.
reference.
It says the question is very profound, right? It uses the profound.
That is why he asks me that. What do you think?
Right.
Anyway, but just to make sure, because I know Muawiyah is not alone. 99% of Muslim intelligentsia don't really realize this fact. They don't realize this fact. They say, oh, yeah, we can know God. Why not? No, you can just be as clever as Eflatun, and they couldn't go out of the universe. So the coming back, this Fahrenheit's comment, from the beginning, introducing Muhammad as a very smart, clever, successful. All of them are insult. Now, do you say insultation or no insult to the prophet? All of them. Unfortunately, Muslims are proud of it.
It's a powerful phrase, insulting the
Yeah,
reality. Yeah.
yeah, saying that he was a very nice, very clever, very successful man. The most successful person in the world was Muhammad. Yes, it is practically looking at it. Yes, in 23 years, whole Bedouins turned leaders of civilizations. Of course, it is a great success, but not is this success is not Muhammad's success. That is God's support, God's success, if you like. Muhammad is just the one who's educated by him and he practiced what he learned from God. That's it. That is one. Yeah, I think we have to realize that this is, as I mentioned earlier, I'll repeat it as short as possible. This understanding that human mind can find God, here I found it. That's it. I am not appreciating the revelation. So I am not studying the revelation because as if revelation is telling me what I can find myself. It is a very, very unforgivable mistake. Revelation is not giving something, I can find it as well. So I don't need to study the Quran anymore. Do you understand the handicap?
It's a very good point, actually. Yeah. And even prophet as well, right? In a way, who brings the message. We're in
Yeah.
that.
So we cannot believe in the prophethood. We cannot appreciate the value of the revelation. And that's why we don't study the Quran. Muslim population mostly don't study the Quran. Mostly. Why? Take it simple. Anyway, let's come to the last point we read. Now, did you understand that, of course, the people of the book come common with, who are they?
Everybody who received the revelation from God, from the prophet, through the prophets, right?
Now, read this one, top. Don't change the page. No, don't change it. All people of work, all people of book. Okay? That is, that.
That
Read.
is as if it addresses this age directly.
Yeah. How? Continue.
And the phrase, O people of the book,
Mhm.
comprises also the meaning of O people of the modern science books,
Hmm.
those educated in modern secular books rather than religious books.
No, but this is the people of the book. No. Now, modern secular books rather than religious books. It must be your comment.
This is, oh, I think it was in the comments. So yeah,
No. We have to be very careful here.
footnote. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. It delivers, it is shout of all people of the book. It means those people who study the kainat, the book of the universe. Come, look, go now, here. Now, all people of the book, Nursi says, all people of the book of the universe. Come on, continue reading the verse. All of the book, come to.
Come to common terms as between us and you.
Who's calling this come to?
The
No, no,
people of the book.
no, 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 no.
So we
Us,
come to
we are
terms,
missing the point here. All people of the Quran is speaking now.
right? Oh, people of the book. So that's
Now,
me, right?
Quran says, all people of the book, all people who study the universe,
Uh-huh.
come to common terms.
Common terms.
What the universe says, what the Quran says, as between us and you. It means what universe says, what Quran says.
So the us points to the universe and what the Quran says, right?
Now, between us, the Quran, and you, student of the universe.
Got it.
Now write it down, and it's very important. Now, us, the Quran, the prophetic message, and you, yeah, excellent, excellent. And you, the student of the universe. Now, this understanding of this one, oh, the people of the book as Christianity, Judaism, and Islam is old school understanding. That is over. Now we have to understand fresh. As the universe is, that is a revolutionary understanding of the Quran. Unbelievable how valuable it is. As the universe is ever renewed in its creation, ever renewed in its creation. The Qur'an is ever renewed as having the fresh evidence from the universe to demonstrate that his claim is true. That is why the Quran remains fresh and youth. Always. Why? Universe is always renewed and new, fresh. I mean, I'm sure Fariha must write an article, Farah, it is her profession, must write an article about this point. Nursi's revolutionary way of reading the Quran. What do you say, Farah?
Inshallah, I have to work.
Did you get this? I'm sure you did, but just I want to hear from you. Did you get why I call this one a revolutionary way of reading the Quran? Have you ever seen anyone?
I mean, the concept is well known and well established, like the continuous creation, or the continuous creation. But applying it to the Quran, I guess, it's something to consider.
And also applying it to the freshness of the Quran, as the universe is fresh at every moment. Quran's message is the fresh because evidence for the message of the Quran is always fresh. And how have you ever seen يا أهل الكتاب تعالوا إلى كلمة بيننا وبينكم سواء بيننا وبينكم verse in this way? Have you ever heard?
No.
Never happens. Only Nursi uses it. That's why I said the revolutionary way of reading the Quran. And then history or traditional reading. That is why I said you can write an article about it. Scientific article using the source here.
All right, inshallah. See. This is the Quran's youth. It preserves its freshness and youth, every age as though newly revealed. MashaAllah. Every age is newly revealed.
Sorry.
Were you saying something, Badr Ali? All right, so we'll continue with the first degree.
Oh, excuse me.
Sure.
Can you go up?
Yes, I didn't hear you. Yes.
This one. Those educated, your comment.
No,
Those
this
educated,
was in the book itself. Yeah, it was a footnote. Yeah.
that is just deleted. Yeah, because it doesn't, it misses the point. Do you see what I mean? Do you know why I said it must be deleted? Because not reading religious book and educated in modern science, secular sciences, it's not the point. Not the secular science. What the universe really demonstrates.
I see.
Interpretation of the universe by materialist, atheist people, it belongs to them. But the universe is always working hand in hand with the Quranic message. Quran says God is absolute. Universe, every being in the universe says my creator must be absolute. So after hearing the Quran, we can make sense of it. And we can confirm this message. If I didn't hear it, I wouldn't go out of the universe. That's how human reality is. That is why we need the universe, but we also need the revelation in order to have a complete, perfect, right understanding.
Right, that makes sense. So the modern science books means the universe, basically, the one what we're studying.
In fact, this modern science, the science books, okay. Original word is, here it is, Ehlül Mektep. Students of the school, this mektep, medrese, mektep, tekke. Nursi divides the education centers into three. One is medrese, where religious sources, Wahi and Qur'an and Hadith studied, right? The other one is mektep, where universe is studied. The other one is tekke, where spiritual education is realized. Now, Nursi says these three schools, these three ways of education must be united. Must be united under the same roof. And he calls it Madrasatu Zahra, as opposed to uh, Egypt, Cairo el-Azhar. The Zahra and Azhar come from the same source word. But because el-Azhar didn't unite it, didn't unite studying the Quran alongside studying the universe. Now, Al-Azhar University has lots of Kulli Sharia, theology departments working independently from others. But Nursi says, no, there must be merged. And there is, for example, Faculty of Medicine. Nothing to do with Faculty of Sharia or, for example, commentary on the Quran, Hadith studies, Quran studies. No, it is medicine, independent. They didn't combine them. Nursi says they must be combined. From one side, you have to study the Quran, and the same person must from other side has to study the universe. And in other perspective, and the same person must spare time for his spiritual education training, practice. Not only praying by practice. No, how can I live in this world as a believer in God? Everything is created by him. I am created with free will. How can I practice my free will? Bearing in mind that the creator of the universe is my creator. And introducing God, the creator of the universe, introducing himself in the Quran is my creator. Accordingly, how can I, which kind of life I should follow? That is how the education should be, the Nursi says. Now you can investigate Farah, you can investigate Nursi's Madrasatu Zahra, not El-Eser, Az-Zahra. And using the same, because originally it was supposed to function in this way, but it is not. That is why originally he uses the same root word, but in other form. Make the distinction. It is very interesting, but read it as we have taught here, not separated from each other, united in one person's education. You have to know what's going on in the universe. You have to know what the Quran is saying. And at the same time, you have to know what your spiritual world desires, looking for, and live accordingly. That is Islamic education, not copy pasting. So, sorry, I know this is so essential that the Muslim population don't know this, unfortunately.
I agree with you, Alhamdulillah, that you pointed it out. Again, we need emphasis on this, Alhamdulillah. The three things need to be combined: our feelings, the prophetic message, the universe, and the Quran, all these four. That's how it makes sense to us. That's the true education to me, at least. That's how I can benefit, inshallah. All right. I think we are at time here, so we will continue from here, the comparisons of the foundations and principles of civilization from next time, inshallah. All right, so I'll stop here. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma alamtana innaka anta alimul hakim. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wa humta surat al-Fatiha. Thank you, everyone. Assalamu alaikum.